Hello all, another adventure of A to Z embroidery stitches. I am still working on my blanket stitches. This panel is done and I'm working on this panel. Today is the Barb stitch, and I had mentioned in a previous video that I bought this ball of yarn at the thrift store, and I thought that I would get to these colors, but there's so much, because it's sock yarn, there's so much yarn of each color that I did all of the writing without getting to the next color. So now I am just cutting the colors off and making myself these little tiny skeins that I can use another time, so that I can actually get to the colors that I wanted to get to. So today is kind of this purple, but I'm thinking I might skip it and go to blue. I don't know how many colors are in here, because it's not I need, for this stitch though, I need two colors. So maybe I'll stick with the purple. I'll stick with the purple. This one is called the Barb stitch, and it's not in the book. And so I am following directions from a website called, I think it's called, I don't know. Oh, this one is Sarah's Hand Embroidery. And the directions say to make a row of, make a row of blanket stitch, and then turn your fabric over and mirror that row of blanket stitch. So one up, one down, and then you're going to come back with a contrasting color and whip it around both rows. In this picture, they have all the same and long and short, and I might try to do both. I'm up here, I did 16 blanket stitches, so maybe I can do 8 and 8. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. My knot came out. Okay. So the question is, what do I want to be my center line? I think I'd like my center line to be right through the middle of the white line. So I'm going to get myself a straight edge and a friction marker. My stuff did not go on here straight. So this is going to be, like my letters, you can see, it's going to be a train wreck. You know what? It's okay. It is absolutely okay. That is not the center, but let's see if I can, well, maybe if I use the straight side and not the side that I cut, I get a better line. Let's try that. It's a little bit better. It's not great. Also, completely okay. There is no stress in the embroidery world. Let's set that aside. There should be no stress when you're handcrafting something. That's my opinion. Especially if you're just excuse me, learning. The little dings is my home cameras. So when a car goes by on a street, I get a ding. When my cats are playing on the front porch, I get a ding. If there's somebody at my back door, I get a ding. If I get a package, I get a ding. And so I look, because one of the things that I tell my mom all the time, and I told my electrician when he put up some lights for me, he wanted to put up motion activated lights, and I said, no, I would like my lights to just be on in my carport all the time. And he said, well, when the motion lights come on, they scare people off. I said, yes, but if the lights are on all the time, they won't come in at all, because the lights are on. But I digress. I tell my mom all the time, she has a driveway alarm, and she doesn't go check it. So her roofer came by and picked up the rest of the pile of roofing, and he came by their house while they were home, and they didn't know that he had been there because the driveway alarm dinged and they didn't go look. And I tell my mom all the time, there's no point in having a driveway alarm if you are not going to look when it dings. There's no point in having dogs if you're not going to look when they bark. There is no point in having your cameras notify you that they saw something if you're not going to look. So it seems occasionally rather obsessive, me looking at my phone. But I have been out of state and seen somebody trying to rip my gate off of its hinges because they were at the wrong address. In my town, the streets have funny names. I live in the country, and it used to be minimum 20-acre lots. And then they changed it to 10-acre lots, which put a road down the middle. And when they did that, the street names were letters. So now the new roads are the letters doubled. So you'll have an M and an MM, or an L and an LL. And then they said, oh, 10-acre lots is too much. We'll make a minimum of 5-acre lots. Well, now you have M and MM. What do you do in the middle? So now you have M and a half. So this guy said that he was told to come pick up a lawnmower, and he was on my street, and he was supposed to be on the different street with the half number. And so thankfully my brother-in-law lives a few houses down, and we were able to call him and ask him to come down and ask the guy what he was doing. And he was like, oh, I'm trying to pick up a lawnmower. If I had not checked my camera, who knows what I would have lost that day, because the guy was literally trying to break down my gate. So my philosophy is, if you're going to have alarms, you should check them. Now, in my case, my backyard camera likes to tell me that there are people out there, and there aren't. 90% of the time, when it tells me there's a person in my backyard, it's actually my smoke tree or a cat. Although one day it was a person, and I was chasing him across the backyard, yelling at him to get out of my yard, because I have a full fence all the way down my fence line. And I was calling 911 at the same time. And the operator said, get back in the house. We've been chasing him. Don't come out until we tell you. I thought about calling back 3 days later and saying, can I come out yet? But it doesn't matter. He hopped the fence in the back corner and was gone before they even got out here. There's an old folks home behind me. I don't know if he went in the old folks home or if he went back to the property to the north, which happens to be a homeless camp. I actually live in a pretty good neighborhood. It's just one random property next door to me. And that's why I have a 10-foot fence all the way down my property line, so I can't see or hear what they're doing over there, which makes it much better on my side. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one more short stitch right here. Okay, I rambled on and bored you all the way to the end of this first row of stitches. So I'm going to come down right there, and I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to see if I can do this without tying it off. So I would have come up right there. So now I'm going to come up just next to it to get me started. And then it would be, this is a short stitch, so this is going to be a short stitch, which is going to be difficult because I use that line, and I can't use that line, and I don't know which hand I want to use. My gosh. I'm going to go in the middle right here. And it's harder because I'm trying not to stab anything I already did. Gosh. Okay. Now this one's going to be a long stitch. I'm going to go all the way down here. And hopefully that looks about right. I have a feeling the stitches on this side are not going to be comparable in length. Oh, that's not too bad. All right, I'm going to work my way back and try not to run into this word right here, which is going to cause me to adjust things. And then we'll come back and do this whipped part. Okay. I have completed my blanket stitch in 2 directions. With this yarn, you could almost stop here and not do the whipped. But I am going to go ahead and do the whipped. Maybe I'll just pull off my purple here and do it with the blue, which should be next. One more. That's all right. We'll do that. We'll start here. I'll wind that up in a few minutes, and I don't think I need too much, so I'll do that. While I was doing this, I was trying to figure out how you would use this, because obviously this is not an edge of the blanket kind of a stitch, and I think that this would work really well for if you were making a quilt or something, and you wanted to stitch on the top 2 pieces together, or for mending, if you had a tear in your pants, that would probably be really good for that. So for the whipped part, she shows you coming up basically in this same spot where you started, and I don't think it matters which way you go. So I am just going to go, I think it kind of shows it like across the diagonal of where the stitches come together. So that's where I'm going to go with mine. This would make a very, very nice mending stitch, I think. I have a feeling that this piece of fabric is going to be looking pretty funny when I get done, realizing how wonky I put my words on and stuff, but I'm going to embrace the wonkiness of it. Now, much like this stitch up here, you could probably add a bead right there, but for this stitch, that might be gilding the lily a little bit. I don't think it really needs anything more. Maybe, though, if I had not done it with such thick yarn, then a little bead right there would be a nice addition. I don't know. But I used really thick yarn, so it really doesn't need anything else. And my blue is almost not contrasting enough. But look at that. I really like that one. Very pretty. I'll call it good. Thank you for watching. I think Birkwick will be next, although I've run right over the top of it. Oh well, again, embracing the wonkiness.